When it comes to the cricketers, they've been just told to ride it out now, just as the 9,000 Australians have been. Do you have any sympathy for those cricketers?
Well, look, I think I have sympathy for all Australian citizens in India at the moment. All Australian citizens, deserve to have the Australian government having their back. Ultimately, that is what citizenship is all about. Wherever you are in the world, that you've got the Australian government looking out for your interests. And so I have sympathy for all those Australians who are citizens in India. The situation is pretty dire, and that's why I am really disappointed that the government had not planned for a scenario such as this in order to help our citizens at a time when any country, quite frankly, around the world could have seen such an explosion of COVID cases.
We have handled it quite well, though. I mean, as the Prime Minister mentioned a couple of weeks ago, 99.99% of cases have been stopped. So hotel quarantine, for the most part, barring less than 1.1%, has worked. So wouldn't that suggest that what we've got in place is in fact pretty solid?
Well, of course, hotel quarantine, in the cities, in non-purpose-built facilities, was only really meant to be a temporary measure, not a long-term measure. And I think the consequences of not being able to bring Australians back, to have to cancel flights, repatriation flights, commercial flights, by having to bring in jail time as a consequence of coming back from one particular country, shows that the quarantine system isn't fit for purpose, and that is to bring Australians home. I think that's quite clear. And the quarantine system is not fit for purpose, and as a result has left Australians in a place that is very dangerous. So I think while the Prime Minister can get up and talk about the work that the states have done, he has failed to respond to the exact report that laid out some ways that we could make a quarantine have more capacity and indeed safer.
Just finally, Alan Tudge says if they can bring forward increased childcare subsidies before July next year, that they will do that. Are you convinced by those words?
Well, of course, he could bring in better childcare subsidies. There's a budget right now. Of course, what they've done is delay it to 2022, July 2022, which is really, I think, an accounting trick when it comes to the budget. We'll see what happens. But the government has been dragged kicking and screaming for more relief for childcare. But if you compare that with Labor's plan, we will help 4 times as many families. I think that the government isn't serious about that. And I think Alan Tudge is probably saying that just to get through an interview.
OK, Amanda Rishworth, appreciate your time. Talk to you soon.